Everybody remembers the NBA's greatest teams and the players who went along with them. But can you recall a team with the worst record in NBA history with just 9 wins all season long? Who done it?
No wonder millions take Roll 8. Roll 8 asset medicine consumes 100% of the acid required to give millions 100% relief. With Roll 8, you guarantee gold. Roll 8. Roll 8 spells 100% relief.
And now, there's sodium-free Roll 8 for sodium-free relief.
The NBA's all-time worst team was in 73 to 76. Billy Crystal and Mr. Ray this week right at the Saturday Night Live.
Before World War II, when we talked about power in Detroit, you had to talk about Hank Greenberg, who hit as many as 58 home runs in 1938. The mantle has been passed to the big catcher and today's designated hitter. When they talk about power in Motown, it's Lance Parrish, the big catcher, who just hit a grand slam home run the other night. The Yankees were built upon the names of Ruth and Gehrig and Mantle DiMaggio. The latest is an unlikely man, Ricky Henderson, 15 for his last 20, just missed hitting 3 home runs last night. Here it comes, the power game, the Tigers and the Yankees.
I'm Sparky Anderson of the Detroit Tigers. I'll be managing the American League All-Stars in Minneapolis on July 16th. But the starting American and National League lineup will be selected by you. So we need your vote to help put the 1985 All-Star teams on the field. Ballots are free at retail stores, featuring an all-star display of Major League and Minor League ballparks. Balloting ends July 6th. So vote for your All-Stars now.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Scully, along with Joe Garagiola. Welcome to Tiger Stadium in Detroit, where the Yankees leading 1-0 as they go to the bottom of the third. In the first inning, Ken Griffey singled with 1 out, stole second. And with 2 out, Dave Winfield singled into left field. Griffey came around to score, and the Yankees are on the scoreboard leading Detroit. And Dan Peasley 1-0. Now we can get some live action in the bottom of the third. Marty Castillo, followed by Doug Flynn. And then Tom Sparky has some pretty good ideas about Lance Parrish and when to rest him.
He wants to rest him because he wants to prolong his career. He wants to at least catch him 120 games. Line up like this, then he's the manager today.
High fly ball into left field, but that wind will cut it down. And Ken Griffey makes the catch. The breeze is a stiff breeze blowing out towards right field. It will raise havoc with pop flies. It will also bother little fly balls hit down the left field line. But it has also done us a great service. It has blown a storm that hit Detroit out of town. Here's the way the Tigers are stacking up against Ron Guidry. Brookins followed by Trammell, Gibson, and Parrish. Herndon, Barbay at first. Sanchez, Castillo, and the newcomer, Doug Flynn, who lifts a pop fly, and the wind's going to play with it. It's going to be foul. Foul ball. Doug Flynn, picked up as a free agent, had only 6 at-bats in Montreal this year. And Flynn just joining the ball club yesterday and playing today. He had some American League experience with Texas. He had 244 for Montreal as his best one.
Just to elaborate on Sparky's lineup today, one of the wags said, well, he's managing today. That's what he's doing. Managing, because Whitaker's out of the lineup and putting him, he had a little bit of a cold, but giving him a rest. Lance Parrish, designated hitter. So it is not his strongest lineup in there today.
Well, when you look at Sanchez, Castillo, Flynn, and Brookins all hitting back-to-back, Sparky doesn't figure to generate too many runs with that quartet. 0-2 the count to Doug Flynn. Flynn, 27 years old. He tied a modern record once 5 years ago. He had 3 triples in a game. The Sporting News picked him on the All-Star fielding team in 1980. Crossed up. Oh, did that ever cross up the Yankee catcher, Ron Hesse? And he's going to walk it off, and I think perhaps at least look at Guidry. Hesse is playing over Butch Weiniger. Weiniger the other night was in the on-deck circle and was hit by a foul ball on the head. Even though he was wearing a helmet, he now has problems with his inner ear. And Weiniger is on the disabled list, so Ron Hesse is behind the plate. 1-2. Breaking ball, looped into left center. Trouble. Little ball. So Doug Flynn, that's a nice way to join a new ball club.
I tell you, he broke in with a pop fly that really had him tied up in knots. The wind really took hold of it, and it was the very first play of the game. Henderson hit it, and he really had a tough play, but he made the play, and people gave him a nice ovation, and now he gets the base hit. It is a good way to break in.
Tom Brookins will be coming up with a runner at first and 1 out. 1-0 in favor of the Yankees. The Tigers had Parrish open up the second inning with a leadoff double, but they left him. Missed half swing. They'll check it first. No swing.
Ben talked about the wind, and it is a factor. The dirt in front of home plate is very soft. The grass is very high in the outfield. It's not too high in the infield. It'll slow the ball down. You'll get a lot of ground balls.
Brookins struck out in the first inning. That's when Ron Guidry opened up the game by striking out the side. There's a beach ball out in shallow right field, so that'll have to be retrieved.
There you see the beach ball being retrieved, and there is the shot of the grass. The outfielders will have to charge the ball. The ball will not shoot through the infield. You're going to have to really hustle to make the double play. It helps the pitchers.
Looks like U.S. Open rough. Winfield again retrieving something else in right field and flips it back into the stand, so we're finally getting underway. It appeared to be a glove that someone had hurled out of the seats. Tommy Brookins, along with Trammell and Gibson, all struck out in the first inning. Tom with a 4-game hitting streak. 2-0. Ron Guidry on the mound, working on Brookins. Guidry is 7-3 this year. 5-1 on the road, and he's won his last 6 straight. Lifetime, he is 15-8 against Detroit.
He doesn't blow people away like he used to. His out pitch has been his slider. He's been very effective with that, and a changeup. They used to just rear back and fire.
And what incredible control. 14 walks and 13 starts. He probably had as good a control as anyone pitching, including Lamar Hoyt. Ron Guidry hasn't lost since the 29th of April. Look at that. 6 walks and 6 starts. His high in walks, 2. His high in strikeouts, 8. One thing he has really turned around, and Billy Martin might have been helping him there. He's a road winner. Last year, he was a road loser. Guidry on the road last year was 2-9. Well, this year, for whatever reason, he's 5-1. 1-0 Yankees. Winfield singled in the run in the first inning. We're now in the bottom of the third. 1 out. Too much for Brookins. 2-2.
On the Yankee ball club, when you see a pitcher throw over the first base, Billy Martin calls for a lot of those throws to first base, and his reason being that he glues his eyes many times on the base runner, and that's a tip-off. A couple ways they tip it off. They try to act nonchalant, act jittery, or a quick move like they've been leaning the wrong way.
All right, we'll watch him. Guidry is certainly doing that.
Flynn was undecided, Ben, on the signs. He's been checking with Veda Pinson, his first base coach, and you can understand that. It's a brand new ball club.
So Flynn at first, held on by Mattingly. You have Willie Randolph at second, Bobby Meacham at short, Mike Pagliarulo at third. Then you have Ken Griffey, Ricky Henderson, and Dave Winfield in the outfield. 2-2. Now back. The Tigers, a blazing hot ball club. They are 11 games over 500. They have won 10 of their last 12 and 4 straight. And are they ever piling up runs? In the last 12 games, they've averaged almost 7 runs a game. One way, they've hit at least 1 home run in 12 straight games. 2-2 the count. And Tom Brookins strikes out for the second time. 4 strikeouts for Ron Guidry. And the batter will be Alan Trammell. But let's take another look at that pitch, Joe.
It looked like a breaking ball. He took something off the pitch, and Brookins for the second time down on strikes. Guidry's been changing speeds very well.
Well, he struck out Alan Trammell in the first inning, and that's no mean trick. Alan has hit in 5 straight. He has 4 straight multiple hit games. Over that stretch, he's hitting almost 500. Hits it foul down the right field line out of play, and the count 0-1. We'll pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network. So Alan Trammell trying to keep things going. Doug Flynn standing at first, 2 out in the third inning, and the Yankees and Ron Guidry leading the Tigers and Dan Petrie 1-0. Mattingly holding a corner on Flynn. 0-1 to Trammell. Boy, he's really got that strike pitch working. They're swinging, but they're missing. They're not even fouling the ball.
And he's staying close enough to the strike zone to make it look good, but that one's out of the strike zone. With that center field shot, you really got a good look at the close stance of Trammell. The key to Trammell when he started hitting was to keep that left shoulder tucked in. He almost turns his back to the pitcher because he doesn't want to fly open too soon.
0-2 to Trammell. Breaking ball fouled off. Still 0-2. Lou Whitaker, normally the spearhead of the Tiger attack, has been playing with a sore neck. And Sparky said, if you give me 2 games, I'll let you rest Saturday. So Whitaker played Thursday and Friday, and he's resting today. Willie Hernandez is over his sore neck and pitched as well last night as at any time he pitched last year, according to Sparky. 0-2. High fly ball to left field, but again, the wind blowing to right will cut it in half. It's just a routine fly ball. So Flynn is left at first. At the end of 3, the Yankees 1 and the Tigers nothing.
When you buy a new car, you want to keep it looking new. And that's easy with Armor All Protectant. A scientific formula that took a polymer chemist 10 years to develop. It helps keep rubber, wire, leather, and plastic looking new. So even though you can't keep your car from getting old, you can keep it from looking old. Armor All. It's science. like magic.
When the big Q flows, America goes.
Still beautiful, Dad.
Take your brother through college, take you wherever you want to go.
On Quaker State.
Right. Smooth oil flow is what you want. Protects the engine. See, Quaker State starts with Pennsylvania-grade crude. Delivers stable viscosity.
We get great protection with the big Q. From listening to you.
Quaker State. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
I refinished this beautiful piece all by myself, and I can't even change a light bulb.
Formby's furniture refinisher can make a believer out of you because it works unlike anything you've ever seen. It dissolves old varnish lacquer shellac without stripping, sanding, or scraping. With my furniture refinisher, it's a pleasure to create a treasure.
Homer Formby. No one knows wood as good.
And remember to try my stains. Their unique tung oil formula provides a rich, deep color you'll be proud to show off.
If he sinks this putt, he wins the tournament.
Hold it! Can anyone here name a copier maker that's bigger than Ricoh? Xerox. Ricoh's bigger. IBM? Ricoh's bigger. And we got to be bigger than Xerox by making a full line of copiers that win top marks for quality.
Illuminating.
Now, are you still overlooking Ricoh? Call Ricoh. We respond. That's what you need.
The Yankees leading 1-0 in the fourth inning, and here's the way New York stacks up. Henderson, Griffey, Mattingly, Winfield, who will open up the fourth, followed by Baylor, Hesse, and Randolph, Tagliarulo, and Meacham hitting ninth. But Dan Petrie has surrendered a run in the first inning. He's allowed 3 hits, struck out 2, working on Winfield. Winfield knocked in the run in the first inning. 4-1. A year ago, June, Winfield went wild. He had 476. This June, he's hitting about 130 points less than that, but making more contribution. In June of this year, he has 3 home runs and 19 runs batted in. 2-0. Dan Petrie coming off 3 brilliant games. Yet he has only 1 win and 2 no decisions, but his last 3 have been gems, including 10 innings of shutout ball to match Jimmy Key at Toronto. A 3-hit masterpiece to beat Baltimore.
And that was a big game for a lot of reasons. He said before the game, we were talking about it, he said he looked down the bullpen in the 10th inning, and no one was warming up. He said that really made me feel good when you realize that Hernandez is in your bullpen.
In there, 3-1. Dan Petrie leads the American League in victories with 9, despite the fact he has won just once since the 22nd of May. As we said, his last 3, he can't pitch much better. 3-1 to count to Dave Winfield, followed by Don Baylor and Ron Hesse. Shot inside third and down the line. A tall grass or no, Winfield burns it down into the corner for a stand-up double.
Baylor is the hitter, and there was a question about whether he had a bad back or not. I asked him.
My back is fine. I slipped down the stairway in Baltimore a little bit and hurt my back, but my back is not the problem. Maybe my bat is, but not my back.
Well, I tell you, I'd have a sore back that night because in that game in Baltimore, he struck out 4 times, grounded into a double play. But he did turn out to have the game-winning RBI when he hit a scoring fly ball in the first inning. He's only had 2 at-bats, however, in his last 28 at-bats. Now, that's less than 100. He's up there now, having flied to left in the second inning, 0 for 1. Winfield at second, nobody out in the fourth, and the Yankees leading the Tigers 1-0. A shot foul over the head of Gene Michael, and kicking on out into left field. That'll have to be retrieved. Don Baylor had a pinch single last night. It was his first hit in 13 at-bats against the Tigers this year. They've really done a number on it. The Yankees start the day in 4th place, 7.5 games back. Last week, they were at their season's low. They were 9 back. The Tigers begin the day in 2nd place, 2.5 back. 2 weeks ago, the Tigers were at their season's low, 8.5 back. And that's when they lost their first 2 games of a 4-game series in Toronto.
last week after I came in New York, Sparky says we're back in the league. Last week we were not in the league, but we're back in it now.
Boy, have they hammered their way back. Some of the scores in this streak, 10 to 1, 10 to 9, 10 to 8, 9 to 8, and 9 to 3. Pulverized the score. 1 and 2 to count to Baylor. Winfield at second, nobody out in the fourth. Yankees 1, Tigers nothing. Dan Petrie and Ron Goodrich. Popped in the air. Breaking ball hit him on the fist. Coming back is Castillo. No play.
One of the big changes in Petrie, and you're watching it right here, is that he's not afraid to throw his fastball. He did not have the confidence in his fastball that he should have had, and when he'd get in trouble, he'd rely on the slider. Now he throws that fastball. He's not afraid to come inside, and obviously it's made all his other pitches effective because he just can't sit on that slider. He's just a good pitcher.
He's had to mature. He was pitching for Detroit when he was just 21 years old. That's on-the-job training.
Well, and that other thing we talked about with Sparky, Sparky said he finally learned how to close the game, and there is a knack to learning that. It's maturity, but a little bit more than that.
1 and 2 to Don Bailey. Fastball lifted to shallow left. Trammell going out. Herndon coming in and over, and the wind blowing it. Nice play by Larry. Anything hit in the air today will be an adventure because that breeze is really blowing out the right field. Of course, if you get it in the air to right field, it's going to be an overnight hike.
They do have some help, though. There are some little clouds up there, those little angels that outfielders especially like to see up there to break the monotony of this plain blue sky. There you see him, so that is some help. You look at that flag blowing out towards right field.
Ron Hassey is probably looking at that flag going out to right field. The left-hand hitter has 3 home runs in his last 3 games. Last night, he hit one up on the roof, which is really big boy country, although it was fouled by about 20 feet. Nevertheless, he showed he has the strength to muscle it up there. Off speed, and he hung it, and it banged into center. So Winfield will score as Hassey gets a change, singles, and into the Yankees lead 2 to 0.
That was just a bit too slow, and Hassey was able to just double clutch it and wait and send it right back up the middle, which is ideal hitting. Opposite fielder up the middle, and you can see it's by before Petrie makes a move at it. Lou Pinella's been working with Hassey, and the difference in Hassey, when you talk to him now, he says, I'm a little lower in my stance. I bend my back, and I'm going at the ball rather than around it. It's more of a hitting the ball as opposed to a swoop.
Boy, he's summoned 3 home runs in his last 3 games, and he has a single and a double today. Not bad, filling in for Butch Weininger. Here's Willie Randolph. And he goes the other way with the breaking ball, whips it up into a football press box, and count on 1. Randolph has been hitting just under 300 for over a month. And he's one of the few Yankees really hitting well. We say that because Ron Hassey has just come out of the change. He was hitting 200. Dale Berra has been hitting 150 since the middle of May. Baylor has not been hitting. Mattingly has really slowed down. He's hitting less than 200. Meacham, over 2.5 weeks, has hit 150. But Randolph and Winfield have been hitting. Comeback now. That Petrie's going to go down to Flynn. Flynn goes double play.
Interesting double play because Flynn, new guy, they really weren't sure.
The events we speak of here took place when a man's reputation was his most precious possession.
I implore you, my lord, not to take even your senses. I'll not compromise, Edmund.
Historians disagree as to when the dispute began, but we do know that many brave men defended their honor to the utmost.
There must be some other way to settle this, Lord Croydon. Stand back. Only this way will honor be satisfied.
Good morning, gentlemen.
You know the rules. Lord Hempel.
Stand ready.
I am.
Lord Croydon.
I am.
Then, gentlemen, take your ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For the last time, gentlemen, have you watered your positions?
Tastes great. Less filling.
Tastes great.
Less filling.
So be it.
No one knows how long the argument has raged, but one thing is certain. Light beer from Miller went on to become a favorite light beer of all time. Rust. Rust that can start on the inside and eat its way through. Now there's a muffler that helps stop this problem. The new Walker Advantage with a revolutionary rust inhibitor, Absorbite, that actually absorbs internal moisture. The inside of this muffler was not protected with Absorbite. This muffler was. You can see the difference. The new Walker Advantage. It puts rust at a disadvantage.
Warranted at service outlet and auto parts stores when you see this sign.
Who's been using my razor? Mine burns. Don't blame your razor. Use my Ice Blue Aqua Velvet.
It turns red-hot razor burn to cool comfort. Smooths, too.
My Aqua Velvet, man.
There's something about an Ice Blue Aqua Velva Man.
Well, a dear. Not under my roof. Dad, this electric razor is rough on my face. Try Electric Shave. It sets up your beard so whiskers stand up and your razor glides. Electric Shave! That's an electric razor, but rather does for a blade.
Take another look at that double play. What's the indecision on the part of Petrie? He's looking for his man, the new guy, and he finally gives it to him. And Flynn completes the double play. It's tough. You have to get a feel for the other guy, and Doug Flynn just reported that he's had a couple tough plays already. So we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Kirk Gibson followed by Lance Parrish and then Larry Herndon. Gibson with an 8-game hitting streak, and he's hit well over 400 during that streak, although he didn't strike out in the first inning. 0-1. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Yankees. No runs, 2 hits for Detroit. A double by Parrish and a single by Flynn. High slicing fly ball to left field. Ken Griffey. 1 away. The Tigers and the Yankees are in the stretch of playing nothing else but contending teams in the American League East. That is one of the encouraging things for Sparky, the fact that his ball club has won 10 out of 12 against contenders. In the next week and a half, they will continue to skirmish only contenders. Toronto at Detroit, New York at Toronto, Detroit at Baltimore, Baltimore at New York, Detroit at Boston, Baltimore at Boston. And then, after July 3rd, that phase of the scheduling will be gone. For instance, the Yankees and the Tigers, after tomorrow, will not play each other again until the middle of September. 2-0 to Lance Parrish, hitting .286. He had 5 home runs and 10 RBIs against the Yankees last year. He has 4 ribbies so far this year against them. Shot up the middle, but Randolph has it run up his arm, recovers in the dirt, and it gets away from Mattingly. Mattingly had to come up with a good play. It was a short hop. Parrish, who got a base of his first time up, sends him right back up the middle. They're going to give him an error, and that's a tough error. The ball is sinking when he throws it. He's off balance, and it's that short hop. That's a tough one. You got to sweep it, and Madeline tried and just didn't come up with it. The Yankees certainly feel that they have an extra fielder when Guidry is pitching. He's won 2 Gold Gloves, an 83 and an 84. A little bit of business here. We'd like to alert the local stations along the network that your break will be coming up at the bottom of the 4th and the 5th. Herndon wears contact lenses, but he has been wearing glasses during batting practice. And one of these days, the Tigers expect he will make the change. 1-1. Last night, Larry had a 2-run single that produced a game-winning RBI. But he's hitting only .232. Yankees leading 2-0, bottom of the 4th. Just missed. 2-1. Ron Guidry, 7-3. You're looking for a walk, you'll wait all day. And that's line to center, base hit. So Herndon is single, Parrish stops at second, and Barbaro Garvey will be coming up, and the time runs are aboard. Another the interesting thing about Detroit, the thing that has people here very optimistic about perhaps the Tigers are coming alive again. They have done a great deal of come-from-behind scoring. Well, they have the opportunity today. They're down 2-0.
First ball hitter.
Garbe fouled out. Let's see if he gets a breaking ball. No, fastball. What was it Billy Martin told us just a week ago? All Latins are first ball, fastball, high ball hitters. Well, they got a fastball, but at least it was down low. And that was Billy's rather succinct scouting observation. 1-0. Ground ball to third. At the bag is Pagliarulo for one. Over to Mattingly, double play. So a 5-3 double play, a hit, an error, a man left. At the end of 4, 2-0 Yankees. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Tonight's Hunter races to stop a former cop turned hitman. I'm going to steamroll right over the top of you. But will he be in time to save Dee Dee? Tonight.
See, your boss bought you-know-who's most powerful personal computers.
Yes, Mr. Prince insisted on those.
The new Compact Desk Pro 286 runs all the popular business software much faster.
Yes, I know.
Compact has more storage, more memory, even a backup system.
Yes, but Mr. Prince isn't very keen on discussion or any other form of mutiny.
Compact is more powerful. It does more than his.
I know.
You didn't even tell him. Wouldn't Compact make his life easier?
Aha!
The new Compact Desk Pro 286. It simply works better.
Only one major gasoline delivers the highest octane, Sunoco. Not Amoco, not Exxon, not Mobil, or Shell. It's Sunoco. Sunoco brings you 93.5 Ultra, the highest octane gasoline. Ultra will eliminate knocking in virtually every car on the road. So to help get top performance, remember, only Sunoco has Ultra, and only Ultra has 93.5 octane.
My lesson is a man of few words. So when he said, phone bill's too high, I called C&P for the answers on local service options. Besides unlimited service, they have what they call message rate service, where you get so many calls for one basic fee. Then there's economy, it's your smallest fee, and you only pay for as many calls as you make. In other words,
The less you talk, the less it costs.
To see what your options are, call for the Answers Guide, free from C&P. We want you to get your money's worth, and we prove it every day.
Root hostage crisis, week 2, Saturday night, 7:30. We move to the top of the 5th inning, and how about that for a sunrise, huh? Proudly wearing their Detroit Tiger hat. Mike Pagliarulo followed by Bobby Meacham and Ann Henderson. Pagliarulo struck out in the 2nd inning, 0 for 1. He's been hot. The last week, he's hit better than .430, including a couple of home runs and 3 doubles. He homered against Detroit at Yankee Stadium. Trying. 0-1.
They say he's one of the hardest workers on that whole ball club. Extra batting practice, swinging the bat all the time. Really a bear-down youngster.
Here's the strike 1 pitch to Mike. 1-1. If you joined us late, in the 1st inning, Ken Griffey walked and stole 2nd, and with 2 out, Winfield singled him home. In the 4th inning, Winfield doubled, and with 1 out, Cassie singled him home, and that's it. 2-0 New York. Ground ball down to Trammell. 1 away.
Watching that ball work its way through the infield, it almost looks like a little rabbit going through there, nibbling.
It took a while to get there, almost died of exhaustion on the way to Trammell. Take a look.
Here's the last one. Watch that ball just kind of work its way through there. Whoops, we didn't get to see that much of it, but the grass is not as high in the infield as it is in the outfield, but it is high. Take my word for it. There's a shot of it.
Here's Bobby Meacham, popped up in the 3rd inning. Ball 1. Once again, we'd like to remind our viewers we'll be selecting the NBC Light Beer from Miller Player of the Game at the conclusion of the ball game. Bobby 0 for 1.
And during this game, I have to make an apology.
Oh, really? Yep. To whom, may I ask?
Well, my name dropper.
Really?
Tom Selleck.
Oh.
I have a wire.
Oh.
I will read it when I get the chance.
Dan Petrie. 9-4, trying to become the first 10-game winner. And if he wins to make it 10, it will be his 6th consecutive year where he's won 10 or more for Detroit. Working on Meacham, who does not have an extra base hit in 3 weeks. Almost a month. A bunt attempt, and he left it in Castillo's mitt. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes to Bobby.
Billy has 3 different bunt signs. Bunt for sacrifice, suicide squeeze, and bunt for a base hit. And when he gives the bunt for a base hit, they better try it.
Of course, Meacham is on thin ice with Billy anyway, from something that happened shortly after Billy took over for Rain 4. Fouled away. Meacham hit what appeared to be a 3-run home run and passed Willie Randolph on the base path, which is not the way to endear yourself to your manager.
For some reason, managers do get upset when you do that.
2-2 to count to Bobby Meacham. The Yankees came in here with a 4-game winning streak, trying to get to 6, which would have tied their longest streak, but they lost the first 2. A drive to right center, and it's flagged by Sanchez. 2 down. Alex Sanchez playing in right. Kirk Gibson is in center. Chet Lemon pulled a muscle in his thigh at Yankee Stadium last Saturday, and he hasn't been able to play since. So Sanchez gets a shot in right, and Gibson holding down the fort in center. And the batter will be Ricky Henderson, who has been incredible. Prior to today, look at those numbers. He was 15 for his last 20. He's had 6 home runs and 15 RBIs in the month of June.
He really gives you a small strike zone, and he controls it.
Leads the league at 353. What he did to Baltimore was truly remarkable, going 10 for 13, including a 5-hit game. He had, I believe, 5 walks and also 5 stolen bases in that series. Otherwise, he didn't do a thing. Ball 2.
Billy says he's the best player in baseball right now. And when you talk to Pinella about hitting, he says he stays in the strike zone long. He gets into it. Pinella is a batting instructor who does not want to fool with your swing. He thinks it's God-given. He works on getting you into the proper hitting position and then use your swing. And Henderson is a good example of controlling the strike zone.
Well, he has to count his way now. 3 balls and no strikes to Ricky, who, by the way, if he gets on base, has stolen 28 out of 29.
And I asked him, if you get on with a single or a walk, will you run? He said, immediately.
And especially, of course, without Lance Parrish behind the plate. 3-0. In there. 3-1. Ricky Henderson hitting .353, 9 home runs. And it's tough to hit right now. He's in the shade. The mound is in brilliant sunshine. Ground ball smothered at third by Tommy Brookins, who gets it. Oh, what a play by Brookins. And the Yankees are gone in order. At the end of 4 1/2, Yankees 2, Tigers nothing.
This is a busy day in the life of the new Ford Escort. The most improved Escort ever. The new Ford Escort is more efficient, more powerful, more comfortable. And even though it's a new Escort, the new Escort is already world famous. In fact, here comes the only car in the world that outsells it. Have you driven the best-built American cars? Have you driven a Ford lately?
Bartender, we'll have a little something cold and wet.
A little Rianiti.
Coming up, a little Rianiti.
A little Rianiti. Boy, can we go for a little Rianiti on ice.
Yeah.
Have a little Rianiti.
Have a little Rianiti.
Riuniti introduces a little Riuniti, a fresh and fruity cutie that makes the ultimate cooler.
Riuniti on ice. Riuniti so nice. Have a little Riuniti.
What? When you play telephone, if you can't hear everything, that's part of the game. But when you pay for calls, it's no fun. AT&T thinks that every long-distance call should sound as close as next door, and isn't that why you call?
Want to try it, too?
Calling anywhere, anytime, long-distance operators over a century of commitment. That's AT&T. The more you hear, the better we sound. AT&T.
all-in-one synthetic motor oil. The technology behind it gives this driver engine protection he can depend on. And this driver. And this driver. And this driver. Mobile synthetic oil technology. There's no finer engine protection out there or anywhere else.
Here's the replay on a play Brookins made. Beautiful play. Backhands it up and knows exactly what he has to do. They have been saying it all year. I just think he's one of the most underrated players in all of baseball. He's a good, solid player. Gets very little publicity. And he made it against a guy with great wheels, Ricky Henderson, and made it look easy. Fine play. Now it'll be Alex Sanchez to start it off. Ground ball wide at third, picked by Rulo, and nice catch him. The boys at third, coming up with a couple of nice plays. Rulo, a good glove, and he goes far to his left to come up with it. Gets a little bit of help from that grass. I think normally it's gotten through there. He gets him easily. Remember, in front of home plate now, it's very sandy. That ball's not going to jump. You're not going to get one of those kangaroo hops. It'll be slowed down. You can see the marks in front of home plate. 0-1 the count to Marty Castillo, who flied to left field in the third inning. One of the things the Tigers have done exceptionally well, not only have they 18-8 against Eastern Division teams, they have beaten the East a lot at home. Fly ball in the left center, Griffey and Henderson at 6 yards. 2 down. The Tigers have won 10 out of 12 against Eastern teams here at Tiger Stadium. The only Eastern team better at home against the East, the Red Sox. The Red Sox against the other teams in the East are 11-1 at Fenway. 2 down here in the 5th inning, 2-0 Yankees. Again, a bit of business. A reminder to our local stations along the network, your break coming up at the bottom of the inning. Here's Doug Flynn. Handled a windblown pop fly and single, so he's at home now with the play. 1. Flynn played for Sparky when they were both at Cincinnati. In fact, in those days, Joe Morgan was the second baseman. And Sparky used to say Doug Flynn, who didn't play, was the second best second baseman in the league. You might also remember that he was one of the 4 players traded by Cincinnati to the New York Mets in the Tom Seaver deal. So Sparky knows all about Doug Flynn. 2-0 in May. 1-1. Little wave rippling around the stadium, the reason for the noise in the background. Foul ball down the right field line. It'll land almost in a wave. 2-2 to count to Doug Flynn. Must be an awkward feeling. You traded to a ball club in the middle of the season. When? How's it feel? Like, at least you stayed in the league. Right. With him, he goes over to join a new club and a new league. To the right side, the Randolph, and that's it. And at the end of 5, it remains 2-0 Yankees. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Sunday on Funky Brewster, will Henry be out of the picture when the school gets on Funky's case? Then on Silver Spoons, will Rick's new pal be bad news for Dad? Sunday.
The Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, and now Washington's newest monument, Speedy Muffler King. Dedicated to the art of installing mufflers, brakes, and shocks, Speedy is now giving a monumental 25% off every muffler. That's 25% at your nearest Speedy shop. Call 577-5511 or see Sunday's Washington Post. Speedy Muffler King, Washington's newest monument, the one that's red, white, and blue.
Time takes you beyond the news. When you meet time each week, you know more. You understand.
This is your last chance to buy a full-size Oldsmobile.
Delta 88 and Toronado, last of the big Oldsmobiles, will be downsized next year. The 1986 Delta 88 will be 22 inches shorter. The 1986 Toronado will be 18 inches shorter. But Washington area Oldsmobile dealers still have hundreds of 85 full-size Delta 88s at special savings, plus dozens of exceptional buys on full-size Toronado. See your Oldsmobile dealer now for a full-size Toronado or Delta 88. Don't get caught short. The George Michael Sports Machine, Sunday at 11:30.
On a breezy day in Detroit, the Yankees are leading 2-0. And in the sixth inning, it'll be Ken Griffey, Don Mattingly, and Dave Winfield.
You know, a couple weeks ago we talked about Tom Selleck getting a cap from Sid Fernandez, and we talked about the A's switching leagues here. Well, he watches all our games, big Tiger fan. He sent a wire that said, an unsolicited gift of a Mets cap is not about to change my loyalty. The Tigers will win it all in '85. Say hello to Vin, Tom Selleck. All right, Tom.
Unsolicited gift.
Yeah.
Double foul, and Griffey backlashed into the backstop, and the count 0-1. Griffey walked, stole second, and came home with the win on the base hit by Winfield, and then he singled in the third. It was 1 for 1. Griffey has his average up to 282. A bunt fouled away. Both teams, for that matter, the American League Eastern Division, have to be thankful for Toronto's 16 losing streak, because it certainly revitalized the contenders. Before Toronto went into that nosedive, the Tigers were trailing by 6, Boston by 7.5, Baltimore by 8, and the Yankees 9. The one team to continue to profit from it, the Tigers, who are 2.5 back. Boston started the day 5.5 back, Baltimore 6.5, and the Yankees 7.5. But it woke everybody up. 0-2. Fouled away.
That was a good breaking ball. You saw a good view of it. The pitch before that is the pitch he tried to get inside if you saw Castillo's target. And talking about it with people, he says that his fastball runs, so in order to come inside, he really has to start the fastball right at the hitter, because if he starts it inside, it'll drift out over the plate to be a real good pitch for a hitter.
0-2. And that's hit fouled on the line out of play. The backbone for the Tigers, of course, a three-man combination, Jack Morris, Dan Petrie, and Walt Terrell. They have a total of 25 victories. That's more than any other American League trio. In the National League, Andujar, Cox, and Tudor of the Cardinals together have 25. And Hawkins, Hoyt, and Gravecki of San Diego have 25. Roller down to Garbe, and he'll feed Petrie coming over. And with that, let's get an update and go to Bill McAtee in New York.
All right, Ben, earlier today we mentioned an NBC Sports poll of fans in San Diego to get their feelings on the Padres' refusal to reinstate second baseman Alan Wiggins after Wiggins returned from drug rehabilitation. Well, according to our random sampling, 73% of the fans at Jack Murphy Stadium agree with how the Padres have handled the situation. 26% disagree. The larger issue is, of course, tolerance of drugs in the game, and this is an admittedly unscientific look at how at least some of the fans directly affected feel. Let's send you now back to Detroit.
Mattingly takes low, ball 1, and there's someone from Southern California who was pretty close to the situation. That did not surprise me at all. Remember last night at dinner? I said that? Yeah.
You thought it would be very high.
Against him.
Against him.
Yeah. There's a drive hooking in the gap in right center. Coming over to cut it off is Gibson. And it's a long single for Mattingly, who's been struggling in the month of June, hitting under 240. In fact, last night, just for something different, he tried to use one black batting glove and one white batting glove, and that didn't help. Anyway, he got a base hit.
Pinella's been working with him, and what they're trying to do is to get him to extend his bottom arm, his right arm, to get more of a turn and wait on the ball a little bit longer. Pinella, one of the better batting instructors, and I said, boy, Mattingly led the league last year.
I was just going to say, what a nice pupil.
Yeah, well, I said he's hitting pretty
tries it, but it could be hitting better.
The pursuit of excellence. And here's Dave Winfield. Singled and doubled. Petrie watching Mattingly, who doesn't figure to be much of a threat. Mattingly has only 2 career stolen bases. You don't really look for him to go. If he goes, it's part of a hit and run play. 0-1 to Dave Winfield, hitting .290.
Why would Winfield be shortening up as if the bunt and taking the pitch all away?
Yankees leading 2-0 in the 6th inning. Yeah, and he shortened up that time. That's the opposite of shortening up. That's letting out. What a swing.
You talk about a guy unfolding. The window shade flying open. Watch this. Every bone rattles, man. Everything went with that one. His shoestrings loosened.
Reggie Jackson took a swing that they had on videotape recently. That should be put in the time capsule. Jackson swung like that, and he wound up staggering up along the baseline about 40 feet. It was the most incredible swing we've ever seen. This one will come close to it. 0-2 to the big guy, Dave Winfield.
That's why you can say what you want, but Reggie Jackson, as he's striking out, is excited. He does give you that little bit of extra. I mean, he looks like a bad dance class when he misses.
Of course, Winfield is second on the team in striking out, but he provides 42 RBIs, 8 home runs, 6 game-winning RBIs along the way. 1-2. Mattingly at first, 1 out in the 6th. There he goes. And it swung on and missed. The throw to Flynn on the wrong side of the bag. And there it is. It's a busted hit and run play. And for Mattingly, his 3rd career stolen base.
Billy's thinking behind that as we watch the play. Castillo gets rid of the ball in good shape. It's just a little bit short. Flynn has to go get it and come back, and he's a bit late, as you can see. Billy says he'll start the runners even though his batters will miss if the runner has the ability to steal a base. Mattingly does not have the numbers that would indicate that, but obviously Billy believes that he can, and he just proved Billy right.
But remember, Griffey stole in the 1st inning, and with 2 out, Winfield scored him. Now, with 2 out following the stolen base, it's up to Baylor, who has flied to left field twice. 4-1. We were talking about Baylor's bad day. 4 strikeouts and hitting into a double play. There have been players, and there's no reason for me to embarrass them, but there have been players who have played extra inning games who have struck out 6 times. There have been players who have played a 9-inning game and grounded into 4 double plays.
That is a bad year.
There's a drive in the deep left field. Back goes Herndon, away back. It's upstairs and bouncing down below. And it is 4-0 Yankees.
Kind of a leader on this ball club, and he really got hold of that one, hit it way up there. He had his problems, but he had no problems with this one.
This is his 12th home run, tops on the team. He now has 45 RBIs. That gets him second behind Mattingly.
They have a kangaroo court that if you stay there and watch the ball, they find you. He leaves it. He may get fined because he took a page out of Reggie. Just a peek when he hit it. He was so happy to hit it, he wanted to see it.
I think Phil Necro is the supreme judge of that kangaroo court. Yeah.
Baylor is the big judge, but if you want to appeal, you got to go to the supreme judge.
Nutsy. Here's Ron Hassett, doubled and singled. He's 2 for 2. They find Gene Michaels a lot because Gene writes out the lineup card and misspells a player, automatic fine. And then they'll have a big party at the end of the year. By the way, Sparky fines a lot of people. And the money that Sparky gets from fining his Tigers goes to Children's Hospital here in Detroit. 1-1. Chopper to the hole, backhanded, no. Garvey can't get it. Flynn does. Goes to Petrie. And again, the ordinary 3-4-1 put out at first base. 2 runs, 2 hits, and at the end of 5 and a half, 4-0 New York.
I have taken on many fighters and tried many beers. One beer isn't a class by itself. Light beer from Miller. Light tastes great, and it's less filling. It weighs in at a third less calories than the regular beer. Yes, I discovered your greatest beer. but I never met your greatest fighter. Hey, who is this Billy Martin anyway? Billy Martin? He's warm, he's gentle, good-looking, too. I got to meet this guy.
Leg beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
I'm Mr. Goodwrench. If you could ride under your car, you'd see the dirty, hard-working suspension system does to give you a stable, comfortable ride. In time, these parts wear, so have the suspension system examined regularly. If it's shocks you need, I'll install new GM Goodwrench shock absorbers. A lifetime limited warranty. You get them exclusively from a GM dealer who sells GM Goodwrench parts. Just stop in and keep that great GM feeling.
Introducing your ultimate weapon against athlete's foot. New footwork.
The pain and itch of athlete's foot can drive you crazy. But now there's footwork.
Footwork works two ways. It cures the pain and itch of athlete's foot, then prevents its return.
Footwork, your ultimate weapon against athlete's foot.
Get new footwork now. Cures the pain and itch of athlete's foot, prevents its return.
How many shakes can you get from one disposable shake? No one makes a sharp, long-lasting disposable quite like How many shakes does your disposable give you?
Bottom of the sixth inning, 4-0 Yankees. Brookins, Trammell, and Gibson in that order, and that's fouled away by Tommy Brookins.
Here's that last play. Carpe, as the ball comes to him, he really mangles it. Glenn says, well, I'll try to get it. Misses the first time, gets it. Petrie's there, and it's a good play. It was your basic play, Glenn.
High fly ball, and the wind will raise tricks with that. Winfield going back and over, lunging to make the catch. Good play. One away. Good play by Winfield, considering the wind. We're checking some scores of other games for you. Cincinnati's Dave Parker overcame 2 home runs by Bob Horner. Reds 4, Atlanta 3. California knocked out Chicago 6-3. Toronto leading Boston 3-2. There's a rain delay, and of course that's a big one. Breaking ball wrinkles low to Trammell, who has struck out, fly to left. 0 for 2. San Diego leading San Francisco 2-1 in the sixth inning. There was a lot of feeling between those two teams. Cleveland, Oakland scoreless in the fifth. Dick Williams, a couple of weeks ago, was quoted as saying, when the Padres were out front comfortably, someone said, well, you got a cake ride. He said, oh, no. Oh, no. He said, I fear every team in the division, well, except San Francisco. Oh. So last Sunday, the Giants swept a doubleheader from the Padres. Breaking ball lifted to Henderson in left center. Little trip hitter.
Of all the baseball things that are said, I think, like they'll say, make a good play and lead off the inning. It happens. The one that says, let that sleeping dog alone, I think I'm on the roof more than any other.
That's 1934, and Bill Terry.
Right.
And Terry was managing the Giants, and somebody said, well, what about the Dodgers? The Brooklyn Dodgers. Terry said, the Dodgers? Are they still in the league? And of course, the Dodgers made life miserable to the Giants, and the Cardinals wound up going into series playing Detroit. Breaking ball strike. A reminder, next Saturday, NBC Sports continues the 1985 baseball season. Some viewers will see Dale Murphy and the Braves talking about the Dodgers who'll be playing L.A. Others will see the Phillies and the Expos in Montreal. Coverage begins at 3 Eastern with Major League Baseball and Inside Look. Tradition is here. The memories are waiting on NBC Sports.
And I'm glad he didn't tear your arm out of the socket.
Oh, this guy is so strong. Like all those football players. They just shake hands. They want to hurt you. They don't want to cleat you.
0-2. The vicious curveball will take care of a hard handshake anytime. And at the end of 6, 4-0 Yankees. And we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Sunday on Night Rider. It's showtime! An injured cheerleader forces Michael into one hot road race and kicks the prize. Will they get burned? Sunday.
It's coming. $500 cash back our biggest small car sale ever. Spectrum, Citation, Cavalier, Chevette. Small cars at unbelievably big discounts and $500 cash back or apply to your It's our biggest small car sale ever, only at your Cavalier Chevy dealers. It's coming. You come too. When your baby is in bed, how does he slip? Like the baby on the left is all soggy, or the baby on the right is wearing gloves. He's sleeping in dryer nighties and sheets, because gloves help stop leaking, and that keeps him more comfortable. So if his nighties stay drier, just imagine how much happier he wakes up. Your baby's comfort begins with love.
Only one major gasoline delivers the highest octane. Sunoco. Not Amoco, not Exxon, not Mobil, or Shell. It's Sunoco. Sunoco brings you 93.5 Ultra, the highest octane gasoline. Ultra will eliminate knocking in virtually every car on the road. So to help get top performance, remember, only Sunoco has Ultra, and only Ultra has 93.5 octane.
The Root Hostage Crisis, Week 2, Saturday night, 7:30. We're moving to the 7th inning here at Tiger Stadium on what has become a jewel of a day. Bright blue sky, brilliant sunshine, strong breeze blowing out to right. Randolph, Pagliarulo, and Meacham. And boy, are we thankful that breeze came along. They were talking about severe thunderstorms, and although we did get some rain at about 12:30 local time, it's all moved out. Randolph fouled out, hit into a double play, started by Petrie back in the 4th inning. So Willie 0 for 2, hitting .259. Foul back.
You know, if you never saw Randolph before and you were catching and you saw that stance, you'd say to yourself, well, I'm going to watch and see if he steps into the ball, because if he doesn't step directly into the ball, he can't reach that outside corner. But he goes into it pretty good. It's a bit deceiving. This shot will tell. Look how far he is, but watch his step. He covers the plate well.
And he promptly loops it into center field for a base hit. So Randolph opens up the 7th inning with a single to center. Willie Randolph,
watch him step directly into the ball and just drive it. Looks like he hasn't got the plate covered, but he certainly does. He's proven by that base hit.
You know, unless you are really a Yankee fan, this will probably stump you, because Randolph has been around a long time. He's been playing second base for the Yankees since 1976, since he came over in a deal from the Pittsburgh Pirates. You know who was playing second base prior to Willie Randolph? No, not Frankie Cassetti. Santos Alomar. They got him picked off, and Garvey tagged him out.
Billy had a play on. He got a bit anxious, and he got trapped in no man's land. Whoops, he's leaning. Now they got him. Now the ball is there. And boy, you talk about an empty field. Open up, ground. Let me jump in. Garvey does a good job. Faked him enough to where he did not have anybody else handle the ball and tagged him himself. Good play.
So Randolph, sadder and wiser, back in the dugout. 1 out. Mike Pagliarulo at the plate. Struck out, grounded to short. Takes ball 1, 1-0. Pagliarulo has been talking to Lou Piniella about a role model. He would like to pattern his swing after Lou Whitaker, a bad man to pattern after him. Whitaker, in case you wonder, is resting today. Whitaker has a 5-game hitting streak, and has just been a remarkable leadoff man with power. Ground ball back to first, fair ball. Garvey overhanding the Petrie in time, 2 down.
Boy, if Whitaker would have been playing today, I can't think of 2 more exciting leadoff men than we would have had in this game, Whitaker and Henderson.
It's surprising. You always think of leadoff men as line drive hitters, base stealers, but both Henderson and Whitaker suddenly showing some muscle. Talking about Whitaker, for instance, and some of his recent home runs. Home runs hit the roof, went into the upper deck. 3 different shots upstairs. 4 home runs in his last 5, but he's resting. A reminder, this telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. 4-0 Yankees, 2 out in the 7th. Right. When the Tigers come up in the bottom of the 7th, they'll have Parrish, Herndon, and Garber. Juan Berenguer is loosening up now in the Tiger pen. There you go. Whoa, you talk about going way out in front of an off-speed pitch. Meacham started that swing sometime this morning. 0-2 to Bobby.
Every time I see that, I think of Bucky Harris. Pitching is nothing but throwing strikes and changing speeds. It's as simple as all that when you can do it.
0-2. 1-2. Meacham is hitting less than 150 in his last 20 games, so Petrie would like to punch him out and end the inning. 1-2 to Bobby. Ground ball to Garber, and that's that. A base hit and nothing else. At the end of 6½, 4-0 Yankees. And now, here's another edition of Baseball Remembered.
Old Spice presents Baseball Remembers. Brought to you by unmistakably masculine Old Spice. Splash on the feeling. Splash on Old Spice. Roy Campanella remembers Branch Ricky's courage in integrating the game of baseball.
My goodness, I can recall one day, he called Jackie and I into his office, and he said, now, I have staked my neck out the window for you fellas. Please don't let them chop it off. Be good players on the field, and be a gentleman off of the field. I'll never forget those words. And I know I said, you don't have to worry. And I'm proud to say that she's being one of the first black to look and see every team has integrated today. Gee, yes, it's American game now for sure.
All you gotta do is smell the coffee, splash on Old Spice. Now you're moving, isn't it nice? Standing tall now, doing it right. Pour out a handful, splash on Old Spice.
Nobody sends more guys out there than America's favorite, unmistakably masculine Old Spice.
Now you're moving, don't think twice. Splash on the feeling, splash on Old Spice.
The game of the week is brought to you by Light Beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. By Ford, who invites you to drive the new Ford Escort. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Armor All. It's science, but it works like magic. And by Quaker State. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will. Parrish, Herndon, and Garber in the bottom of the 7th. That was a poignant moment for all of us who know him and knew them. Roy Campanella and the great shots of Jackie Robinson. It still is a privilege to watch them both play and travel with them, and it's still a great honor and a bright spot to see Campy at every Dodger game in Los Angeles. Baseball remembers for the week.
That was a good spot. We talked about him last night at dinner.
Here's Lance Parrish. Parrish doubled in the 2nd inning and was aboard on a tough error as he hit one up the middle. It's in the air on Randall. 1 ball and no strike. We were mentioning earlier about Sparky Anderson finding the Tigers for money all goes to Children's Hospital. Parrish makes a contribution today. He came to the park a little bit late. He came right into Sparky's office. And he just said, I know I owe you a little money. We'll get it. And Sparky said, that's fine. And it was 2 hours and 15 minutes before the game. So it wasn't as if he was really tardy. In there, 1 and 2. There is somebody on the Tiger Club. Sparky naturally wouldn't mention who it is. But whoever it is, Sparky said, this one fellow is making tremendous contributions to Children's Hospital. Missing signs for being late, missing claims. I won't even guess. But I know it's not Parrish. 1 and 2 to count the Lance. Fouled away.
Well, I heard an interesting thing on the other side. Willie Horton is Billy Martin's tranquility coach. Good piece. And Billy said, named this particular player, said, I want him with a hat on, keep his cap on. If he takes it off, you just grab him right by the neck and run him up in the clubhouse.
We'll keep an eye for that. 2-2 to Rand Parrish, opening up matters in the bottom of the seventh. The Yankees are leading 4-0. Winfield knocked in a run. Cassie knocked in a run, and Baylor hit a 2-run home run. And Guidry has been magnificent, limiting the Tigers to 3 hits. All the way. Parrish a double, Flynn a single, and Herndon a single, and that's it. Guidry has struck out 4, in fact maybe 5, and as usual, he just doesn't give up a walk. For those numbers. Only 157 pounds fighting weight. 5'11". 3-2. Don Jenkins, you're looking down at Al Clark. No swing. 41,774 here. So they've drawn over 125,000 so far. And Frank Tanana, a local boy, will pitch tomorrow. And that's today for Parrish. His 6th strikeout. Frank Tanana will be going against Bob Shirley tomorrow. They'll have a big crowd here, I'm sure.
Guidry took a little bit off that curve ball. Parrish had a pretty good swing at it, but just out in front, and he just takes him out.
Strikeout number 6. And Sparky didn't have much to talk about this far. And here's Herndon. Right. Herndon grounded to short, single to center, 1 for 2. 4-0 Yankees. 1 out, bottom of the 7th. The last 8 in a row have been retired by Guidry since Herndon single back in the 4th inning. Ron Guidry. Do you know he played center field for the Yankees? Oh, you do too. Fly ball to center field. Ricky Henderson. Yeah, in that wild fine car game. Ron Guidry actually played center field for the Yankees for 1/3 of an inning, for 1 out. 2 down. And Garvey coming up. We'll pause briefly to station identification. This is the NBC television network.
WRC-TV, Channel 4, Washington, D.C.
Barbaro Garvey fouled out, grounded into a double play. Fastball and into right field. First ball fastball. So a 2-out single, and the Cuban singles to right. And the batter will be Alex Sanchez from the Dominican Republic. Garvey doesn't figure to go down 4-0.
No, I wouldn't think so. Sanchez got that big loop in his swing, but when he gets a hold of it, he can ride it a long way. He's strong. And that bat he used, you picked it up.
I couldn't believe it. That is the thinnest handle bat since the days of San Musial.
Musial, he had a Shishka box stick in his hand.
That's right.
Swivel stick. Really thin.
You'll think the slider coming off a left-hand pitcher would break his bat for sure before the day is through.
Stein used to get a thin-handled bat from the factory and shave it down. I couldn't believe it. I would swing it and I would dig my fingernails into my hand and make my hand sore.
Well, that's the thinnest bat around. Certainly I've come across it quite some time. 0-2. Who came over in a deal with the Giants? Minor league deal, Roger Mason. Let's take a look at that hit drill.
If he hits as a trigger mechanism, but right now, watch him pump that handle. It'll go down right there. See him kind of loop the bat. They say when you do that, you can't hit the high fastball.
He's been inspired when Petrie is pitching. 3 of his 4 home runs have come in Dan's game. Ground ball hard to short. Petrie goes to Randolph, and they get the 4th on Garvey, and the 7th is in the books. At the end of 7, the Yankees 4, the Tigers 0. Big day for Ron Guidry.
You know, when it comes to being a champion, sizes and everything, who knows better than Doug Flutie? The main thing is you gotta be tough. Like the small size Ford Ranger. The pack's plenty of V6 power up here. No other small V6 pickup beats it for power. And down here, there's independent front suspension. Real tough. Okay, go along. And the Ranger's cab is high and wide. Hey, do that again, Doug. What do you want, another miracle?
taxes, and money's working, and the property's growing in value.
They're finding millions of big things. We call their Century 21.
Their investment professional knew all the ropes, and guess what? We're saving on taxes. Our money is working. Our property is growing in value.
17 months. That's how long it took us to paint this house with a brush. Then we painted it in just 6.5 hours with the Wagner Power Paint. His wicker chair took over an hour, but less than 5 minutes with the Wagner Power Paint. A shutter that took 20 minutes. The Power Painting finish in only 3. It's a tool so versatile, it has a flexible spring tip and a way to draw paint right from the can. The Wagner Power Paint. It's the right tool for painting.
What a lot to make the car swing. Yeah, after you wash it, get out the old armor off. First I do the tires. Makes them look like new. Then I do the bumpers. Makes them look like bumpers. Yeah. Then I do the gas, the door pedals. Then I hit the hoses. And when I'm finished with armor off, this car's the envy of the entire living world.
And then he does...
Well, the last time we were here, Joe, they were having a dinner on a Saturday night to honor Willie Horton. Big favorite here. He put a lot of numbers on that scoreboard for these Tigers. He hit 325 home runs in his career, 262 of them for the Detroit Tigers. Willie Horton comes back. Ricky Henderson is 0 for 3, and that's new, although it took a great play by Tom Brookins to keep him hitless today. Right. He has earned hitless in only 2 games this month. On the 6th against Milwaukee, and on the 16th against Detroit. Remarkable.
He is very strong. Look at those arms.
He also has very powerful thighs. He has thighs something like the Andre Jesus in the National League. They look like they're going to burst right through the uniform.
He's low in that strike zone, and when he swings, he really explodes.
1-1. High fly ball. The left counter is playable, although the wind is blowing it. Gibson going back to the track to make the catch.
That was a long way. I talked to Don Baylor about the ladies in the clubhouse, almost in rebuttal of Dale Murphy. Here's what he said.
Well, Don Baylor is for the women in the clubhouse because their job is to report, and that's exactly what they do. I chose baseball as my profession. They chose journalism as theirs, and they do a very professional job. We never have any problem with the women in our clubhouse because guys will walk around with a towel, they cover themselves, and they come in and ask very intelligent questions, and a lot more than some of the men.
Ken Grubby hits a foul ball, and the wind brings it back to Tom Brookins. The wind serves a foul ball. That was going to go in the seats, and the wind brought it back to Tom. 2 down. Well, in order to explain about Dale Murphy as we look at Tom Brookins handle that comeback foul ball, Dale Murphy says he doesn't want women in the clubhouse. And then Dale makes the other point, that if a lady does come in the clubhouse, Dale will then not give an interview to a male reporter. As you see the lady photographers, or photographer person. And so it goes. 2 out in the 8th, and Don Mattingly at the plate. He goes the other way foul.
Baylor can elaborate. He said they ask intelligent questions, comes up more than the men. Well, there are some on the beat that they're professional about their job, and there is nothing wrong with it. They are professionals. The grandstanders, they don't belong, and the players know that.
A drive hooking down the right field line, going foul out of play. The all-time anecdote of writers and media talking occurred years ago in New York when a pitcher pitched a no-hitter, and everyone there had just about asked every imaginable question. And finally, so the story goes, some writer said, "Did your wife see you pitch the no-hitter?" And the young pitcher said, "No, she was home feeding the baby." And the writer said, "Breast or bottom?" That's going far. Throws the ball, 0-2 the count at Don Mattingly. Yankee bullpen hearing out a little bit. Mike Armstrong and Ed Whitson throwing down there. Whitson has been pitching particularly well of late. Armstrong had a wild pitch get away. Cost the Yankees the other night. 1-2. 2 down, 8th inning. 4-0 Yankees. And it has been Ron Guidry with power of strength out-pitching Dan Pizza, who has allowed at least 1 hit in every inning but the 5th. 2-2. Mattingly tied for the RBIs with Tom Glinansky of Minnesota. Mattingly 1 for 3. And Ray Miller, the new skipper of the Minnesota Twins. And Billy Gardner on his way back to Connecticut. Line to right field, base hit. Who played with Billy Gardner?
Yes, I did with the Giants. I'm happy for Ray Miller. He's waited a long time for his chance, but I'm certainly sad to see Billy Gardner go. In fact, I was in Minnesota last week then, and there was a lot of talk. And Howard Fox, the president, even said, well, you can't fire 25 players, and sometimes things go right. You have to do something with the manager. That kind of rationale kind of bothers me.
And about a week previously, the owner of the Minnesota Twins said, we don't fire anybody.
Well, I remember one time Warren Giles, when I read about it, he fired Bill McKechnie, said, today I'm firing the best manager in baseball.
And the question is, well, then why do you fire him?
Exactly.
Well, here's Winfield, single, double, and struck out. Down in the Tiger bullpen, Aurelio Lopez getting in a little work. And he'll probably have some company before he's through. Doug Bear with a rosin bag in his hand, and he's going to be the bodyguard. Phil Shearer will be the pitcher. In fact, turn it around now. Shearer is going to be the bodyguard, and Bear will throw with Lopez. Winfield hitting .289. Remember, Mattingly was credited with a stolen base in the 6th inning, but it was a busted hit-and-run play as Winfield struck out. But he scored a moment later on a home run by Baylor. Griffey stole second in the 1st inning. He scored on a single by Winfield. So Petrie's been burned twice by the stolen base. Say one thing, Winfield sure doesn't get cheated. He gets a full swing.
No, he doesn't get cheated, and he's involved in a business enterprise of developing particular muscles for a swing. I saw it up at the Mayo Clinic. It's quite a thing, and I was asking him about it. He said, yeah, he said, the sports train is at the cutting edge, is the way he referred to it.
Oh, good pitch. You see how spread his feet are? He was taking his stride. He was locked. He could not have swung at that pitch. He was totally tied up.
And that's a pitch that Petrie talked about before the game. He's not afraid to come inside with his fastball. As a big hitter, you think with the short porch, the way the ball carries, that you might keep that ball away from him. No, sir, he's coming inside, which is a sign of the good pitching.
Yeah, that was quite a pitch. 0-2 the count to Dave Winfield. 4-0 Yankees. 2 out. Mattingly at first, and we're in the top of the 8th.
Mattingly's got a funny habit when he takes the lead. He gets his hands down there and he dangles his fingers like he's getting ready to play the piano or something. He's loosening them up.
There he goes, yeah. Roger Williams at baseball. Big chopper down the short. Trammell has to hurry to get Daddy Longlegs and does. No runs, 1 hit, a man left. And at the end of 7 1/2, the Yankees 4, the Tigers nothing.
Here, guys, you're on your own.
Hey?
Ready to deliver, dude. First one down by the low brow.
Were you scared?
No.
Jane makes her parents very proud. She's on the honor roll and plans to go to college. Starred in the class's last play. She plays clarinet in the school orchestra. Yes, Jane knows about blues. In a way, she's lucky. She knows better. Some people don't realize that marijuana and driving don't mix. But Jane's brother reminds her every day that some trips last forever.
Call 1-800-554-KIDS.
Ford consultant Jackie Stewart talks about the four-cylinder turbo.
The four-cylinder turbo has staged a revolution. To find an eight-cylinder Grand Prix engine today, you almost have to come to a museum. As for road cars, like the Mustang STO, the intercooled four-cylinder turbo can actually give four cylinders the power of eight, if you ask for it. The Mustang STO is a big step forward.
Have you driven the best-built American cars? Have you driven a Ford lately?
Marty Castillo, followed by Doug Flynn, and then Tom Brookins in the bottom of the eighth inning. That's a strike. Castillo flied to left, fly to center. Making his first start and struggling. Boy, in this modern day and age, when you're struggling at the plate and they put your numbers up on a huge scoreboard, it is humility time. You might as well wear sackcloth and ashes rather than a Tiger uniform in large numbers. Look at that. 0-3-6. Big chopper wide at third. Tangarulo is there, and he'll lose a couple of more points.
And I started saying to you, did you notice that he swung at the first pitch? The guys who are hitting under 200 become first ball hitters for no other reason to put the lights out on the scoreboard.
A reminder, NBC Sports takes you to one of the truly great events in all of sports. Wimbledon, John McEnroe and Martina Navratilova look to continue their dominance on the grass court. He's going for a fourth singles title. Coverage underway with the Wimbledon 85 preview, hosted by Dick Enberg and Bud Collins, tomorrow at 1 Eastern, 3 in Los Angeles only, right here on NBC Sports. A drive into left center, Henderson fading on the ball and takes care of it. So Flynn, a long out to left center field.
You don't see Ricky do that too often, a one-hand catch. He's one of those, in the old school, he's a two-handed guy.
He made that look as easy as Ron Guidry has made it look easy, stifling the Detroit offense. It figured, however, and no knock, but they're just not producing. The lineup that features Sanchez, Castillo, Flynn, and Brookins does not figure to generate too much of an attack. And Ron Guidry has him by the neck, a four-hitter. He has not walked anybody. He has struck out 6. In fact, he has allowed 2 men get to second base, no one to reach third. 4-1.
We were talking about pitchers knowing when to close and how to close. Guidry knows how to close. What it simply means is don't look and say I only got 6 more outs. Get them one at a time.
Another thing about Ron Guidry, he is coming off a shutout. His last start, he beat Baltimore 10-0. He has won 6 straight. He's sailing. 2-0 in there. Brookins struck out twice, flied to right. He had a little 4-game hitting streak. High fly ball to right center. Winfield and Henderson. They're going to play jump ball. And it's Winfield who will win every time if it gets to that. It's on in the 8th, and at the end of 8, 4-0 Guidry.
Now get a great shake on select full-size Ford pickups. New low 8.8% finance. That's right, 8.8% financing on new two-wheel drive F-150 and F-250 regular cabs. So get a great 8.8 shake now on select full-size Ford pickups through August 1st at your participating Ford dealer. The best-built American trucks are built Ford tough.
It's a hot one out there today as Peterman starts his engine. The field is wide open. Dombrowski picks up speed and breaks away. Here's Evans showing some hustle against the youngsters.
When you exercise, you lose potassium, fluids, minerals. Gatorade Thirst Quencher helps put them back fast.
That's why the pros drink it. That's Thirst Aid.
Gatorade
cool comfort. Smooths, too.
My Aqua Velva Men.
There's something about a nice blue Aqua Velva Man.
Well, up here, not under my roof. And this electric razor is rough for my face. Try Electric Shave. It sets up your beard so whiskers stand up and your razor glides. Electric Shave!
That's an electric razor with lather guts for a blade.
If you put off planning your summer vacation, waiting for a low airfare to fall into your lap, American Airlines has something special in the air for you. American Airlines Ultimate Super Savers. Good to all our destinations in the continental U.S. Discounts up to 70%. Fares from $39 to $149. So get moving before your summer vacation passes you by.
Stuff dreams are made of. Little boys at a ballpark, dreaming about someday.
Look at that Detroit Tiger champion on like a left-handed first baseman, all bent in the teeth.
Taylor drills it foul. Well, somebody got a hot hand leaning over to handle that thing. Taylor did not have an extra base hit since a home run on the 7th of June, but he hit one out with a man aboard in the 6th inning. He tied for the American League lead with Kirk Gibson last year with 5 ninth-inning home runs, and he has 2 so far this year. A little-known category, but nevertheless, the later the game, the tougher they are to hit. And he lifts one back a third. Tommy Brookins hoping the wind to bring it back. It does to Trammell.
Went down and his body took a bad hop.
One away.
He's not sure of it. Brookins gets out of the way. Watch Trammell now down. He's going. Boom. Boom.
Don't forget, next Saturday, some viewers will see Dale Murphy in the Atlanta Braves against Pedro Guerrero and the Dodgers. Others will watch the Phillies and Expos in Montreal. Coverage begins 3 Eastern with Major League Baseball and Inside Look.
Guerrero's really hot, isn't he?
Hit another one last night. Right. Ron Hesse doubled, singled, and grounded out. It took 3 men to get him in the 6th inning.
That tough as the sort of business. He got the medal from the Italian government.
He wears the medal inside his shirt. All in one. The Italian government honored the manager of the Dodgers, Tommy Lasorda, this past week for his contributions to the Italian baseball team and to the Italian Federation. And he had this beautiful medal on his T-shirt underneath his baseball shirt. A drive to right field. Digging is Sanchez, but that short hops the wall. Hesse on his way for his 3rd hit and his 2nd extra base hit, and he is in there.
He said before the game when I was asking about what Pinella has done, and he said, well, he's got me leaning over a little bit, and I'm driving the ball. He said, I was striding a bit too soon, and I was losing a lot of power. Now I'm waiting on the ball, and I'm driving through it. That was a good example of really driving the ball. The first double he got, it was one of those that was a bloop down the left field line they thought was going to be foul. In fact, he didn't even run that hard. But this one, he really drove that ball.
So he had 3 home runs in 3 games. He has 3 hits today. A double in the 2nd inning, a single in the 4th, and a 1-out double in the 9th. Hesse experiencing some happy times with the bat. He also had a frightening time because last night was the first time that Ron Hesse in his career had ever caught a knuckleballer, and it was Phil Nico. He had 1 pass ball charge against him. He learned from his experience. Willie Randolph trying to pick him up. He's 1 for 3. Fouled away.
I don't differ with you very much, do I?
No.
You don't learn catching a knuckleball.
You have to be humble, I guess.
That's right. All you do is neglect it not at a line. You know, if you could say, well, the next game I'll be a better catcher for it. No way. No. You're still looking for Test Bannon on television to get ready for it.
1-1 for Willie Randolph, who is 1 for 3, hitting .262. He got aboard in the 7th inning and was promptly picked off. 4-0 Yankees, 9th inning. The Tigers have won 4 out of 5 going head-to-head with the Yankees.
That's pretty good play by Marty Castillo. That glove, you notice how it breaks right down the center. That's a backhand like a first baseman's mitt. Short hop, right in there, flows it. Could never do it with the glove.
glove we used to use in the old days. We used to let the first baseman do that.
Fine play by Marty Castillo, spelling Lance Harris, who's the DH today. Randolph trying to nudge Nancy. 2 balls, 1 strike. Missed ball 3. Interesting to look at these teams. The Yankees, for instance, do a number on Kansas City. Billy Martin's club has beaten Kansas City 5 out of 6. But John McNamara's Boston Red Sox give Billy and the Yankees a bad team. The Red Sox have beaten the Yankees 5 out of 6. And for Detroit, the team that has given them a bad time, the Minnesota Twins, beaten 4 straight. Chopper down to short, and cutting in front is Perkins, and it's safe from first.
Willie beat that play with that last stride. He really stretched it out, and he beat the play. Perkins really wrong for it. It was left, had something on it. Watch him cut across. Watch Billy, or Willie rather, watch him stride. Big stride. Man, did he open up.
And it was interesting to see, as soon as Brookins went after the ball, without a moment's hesitation, Trammell was racing to third, and Case Nasty was trying to come over on the throw to first. So they were really hustling, but still Randolph gets the base hit. 2 on and 1 out. And Mike Tagliarulo coming up. Struck out, grounded out twice. 1 out and 2 on for the Yankees, leading 4-0 in the ninth. Detroit will have Trammell, Gibson, and Karras due up in the bottom of the ninth. Right. Lopez throwing in the Tiger bullpen. Mike with 4 home runs, hitting .214. The big thing that has plagued Dan Peter, every time the hitter swings, he hits the ball. In fact, he has given up a hit in every inning but the 5th. And although he is far from being a strikeout pitcher, he only has 2, and he got them in the first 2 innings. He's been pitching out of the stretch all day. Just missed with a fastball, ball 2, 1-1. Bobby Meacham on deck. The runners, Nasty and Randolph, along with Tagliarulo, looking over at the stick, Gene Michael. Okay, the Yankees have a play with the count 2 balls and 1 strike. And he lines it to left. Herndon comes up to backhand it in the runner's hole. In fact, Nasty draws a throw. 2 down. Bobby Meacham finds Randolph at first, Nasty at second. And Meacham is 0 for 3. Bobby popped to third, flied to right, and grounded to Garbe at first. Meacham last year hit .318 at Yankee Stadium and 193 on the road.
Brookins has moved in a bit at third base. Knowing Billy and knowing Meacham, he wants to get Henderson up there. You have to look for anything.
Especially Bobby hitting the left-handed. Got to have a look.
Hey, if I was catching, Ben, one of the things I'd holler is be alive for the bunt. I know there are 2 outs, and I know there are base runners at first and second, but you cannot take for granted he will not bunt for the base hit.
And you can bet that's very much on Marty Castillo's mind right now as he took a quick peek over to Sparky in the dugout. 1-1. The Yankees have been leaving on the average over 7 men every game. They've only left 3 today, so Michael has not had to be too frustrated.
This could be the spot right here.
1-1. Two and 1. Garbe very deep at first. So the Tigers feel if he is bunting, they'll only shorten up Brookins.
You want to grab hold of that grass along the third base line. That'll help.
2 and 1. Three and 1. Interesting because if this would be the last out of the inning, Henderson would not have an at-bat, and he's in the on-deck circle. Remember, Rickey has had A hitless game only twice in the month of June, and Martin hanging out a 3-1 sign, perhaps.
That's a decision for him because you know he's going to get the fastball. He's got to throw a strike. You don't want this guy up there.
Ricky waiting patiently in the 3-1 pitch. Out away.
Turned him loose. Wanted to get that bat started. Here's a big pitch.
One thing, going 3-2 now, Ron Hassey does not have much speed, so Martin knows that's a slight offensive edge to have Hassey going along with Randolph. 3-2, 2 out in the ninth, 4-0 Yankees. It's been all Yankees since they scored in the first inning. Griffey walked, stole second, Winfield singled him in. The runners go, and the pitch is ball 4 to load him up, and here comes Henderson.
Petrie is trailing by 4, been pitching a tough ball game, but that is a bad piece of pitching, and you can see how disgusted he is. The last thing he wanted to do is to walk Bobby Mitchum and face this guy. Now he's really he has to regroup now. He knows how Sparker feels. There's Billy Muffin, the pitching coach, but he has to say to himself, okay, I screwed it up midway from the middle, but I got to get this guy.
And getting this guy, Ricky Henderson, has become a tremendous effort. The league's leading hitter has popped up, grounded out twice and flied to center. But in the 5th inning, he lost an extra base hit on a great play by Tom Brookins, the third baseman.
And Henderson is a first ball hitter. He's got to have extra stuff on this one.
Hassey, Randolph, and Meacham out on the line. Breaking ball strike. 0-1. The Yankees leading the Tigers 4-0, and hello to all you good folks who are watching the Giants-Padres game. Vin Scully along with Joe Garagiola here at Tiger Stadium, and we're in the 9th inning. 4-0 New York, and they thought to break it wide open against Dan Petrie. Fastball. They started and curved. He back fastball, and he has him by the neck now. No balls, 2 strikes. But remember, Dan has not been striking out people. They got Mattingly in the first and Tagliarulo in the second, and that's it.
He came inside with that when they really tried Ricky up. This would be an interesting pitch and see where he places it. He could go try to get him right now, or he could use this pitch and set up his 1 ball, 2 strike pitch.
This pitch will be the 140th made by Petrie. 1-2. What a borderline pitch.
No, it was out of the strike zone. Now he's in good shape. He can go to breaking ball, or he can come in tonight with the fastball. We'll watch Castillo. See if we can pick something up here. Marty's trying to get some help, looks like. Wanted the fastball inside, shook him off.
1-2. Petrie's third strikeout of the day. The Yankees leave a bundle, but they leave 4-0.
Over the years, we've watched old number 51 retire a lot of ball carriers. But tonight we're going to retire him. So let's do it his way. Turn over those wine glasses and bring on the Lowenbrow. Just remember, you guys start messing up, I'm coming back.
Come on, America. Drive over to Firestone for another Master Care car service value. Master Care lube, oil, and filter includes up to 5 quarts hot quality oil. New oil filter. Now only $12.88 at Firestone. New Supreme, Firestone's best radio, on sale at the best prices of the year.
There's a lot of confusion in people's minds about what goes on in their mouths. Like the difference between plaque and tartar. Plaque is so soft, proper brushing with a toothbrush and any toothpaste helps remove it. Ugly tartar is so hard, it takes one of these to scrape it away. And no toothpaste helps stop it from coming back. But there's one coming that will. One that helps stop tartar from coming back between dental visits. New Tartar Control Crest. Coming soon in the silver box.
What do you call a charcoal that doesn't need lighter fluid?
Blue. Hatchlight charcoal. What could be more convenient? Who can protect the wood on your home beautifully? Olympic Stain. Who's protected more homes than any other stain? Olympic Stain. Our linseed oil penetrates inside wood for strong protection outside. Who's got the inside or outside protection? Olympic Stain.
Bottom of the ninth inning, Ron Guidry is 3 outs away from his second shutout of the year and the 26th shutout of his career. And he's the NBC Light Beer from Miller Player of the Game. Light Beer from Miller happy to present a check for $1,000 in the name of Ron Guidry to help fight multiple sclerosis. We told you about Petrie throwing 142 pitches. Guidry has only thrown 90 pitches and 60 of them strikes. He has not walked the batter. He has struck out a half a dozen. 1-1. A drive to left, coming up for it, and grabbing it is Griffey. 1 down in the ninth inning. The Major League Baseball Game of the Week has been brought to you by Miller Beer. Miller made the American way since 1855. By Mobil One Synthetic Motor Oil. There's no better engine protection under the sun. By Electric Shave. Electric Shave does for an electric razor what lather does for a blade. And by Ford, who invite you to drive the new Ford Escort. Have you driven a Ford lately? Gibson, with an 8-game hitting streak, has struck out twice, flied to left 0 for 3. And a little breaking ball, 0-1 the count. Ron Guidry, back in 1978, when he led the league with 25 wins, had 9 shutouts that year. High fly ball to left, Griffey is there. And Guidry now is 1 out away from putting it away. He has allowed 1 hit since the 4th inning, a single by Garvey. The executive producer of NBC Sports, Michael Weissman, coordinating producer for NBC Baseball, Harry Coyle, the telecast of today's Game of the Week. Produced by George Finkel, directed by Andy Rosenberg. Pre-game produced by Les Dennis. Pre-game directed by Mary Guido Lamuccio. Technical directors Bob Arnold, Tim Marshall, and Sal Nagita. And remember, for most of you along our network, NBC Nightly News will follow. Lance Parrish doubled, was aboard on an error, and struck out. 1 for 3. The last time the Tigers were shut out, June the 6th, by Toronto, took 3 men to do it. Jimmy Key, the left-hander, Gary LaBelle, and Jim Acker. So Guidry found all the way to shut him down. All the way.
We talked about guys knowing how to close the game and become good closers. You can see that Guidry has not picked up his pace in any way. He's still walking behind the mound, taking a little bit of time between pitches, and he is going 1 out at a time. Many times pitchers will look ahead and they'll rush themselves, and then you have to go to your bullpen. These are good closers.
Trying to close a wicked offensive attempt. Fly ball to right field. Remember the wind, but Winfield has some room and makes the catch about 5 or 6 feet shy of the right field screen. Second shutout of the year, the 26th lifetime shutout for Ron Guidry. And for the Tigers, they really weren't in the game. A run in the first, they gave up another run in the fourth, a 2-run home run by Taylor in the sixth, and no way Ron Guidry was going to let it get away.
You can feel it in the wind. It's going to be a perfect day. And here's Ford Tempo, the forward-thinking car with front-wheel drive, precise handling, and a shape that handles the wind as well as it handles your family. In fact, Ford Tempo is so well thought out, it even makes getting to the picnic a picnic. Have you driven the best-built American cars? Have you driven a Ford lately?
Hey, Bobby, toss me the flashlight.
One reason why a Durabine flashlight is so dependable is because it's so incredibly rugged. Another reason is it comes with Duracell batteries that work, even after lying around unused for 2 years.
I can't believe you threw that. You said toss me the flashlight.
Durabine, from Duracell. It really works when you need it. You're looking at pictures of a baby's first steps, of a newlywed couple embarking on their honeymoon, of a daughter graduating from college. A lot of these pictures will turn out fine. Some won't turn out at all. But with a Polaroid instant camera, you know you've got the shot, because you see it moments after you take it. So instead of coming back with quotes, come back with pictures. Polaroid instant cameras do what no other kind of camera can do.
Over 200 years ago, a symbol was chosen for the American way. A symbol that represented strength and pride. One that would last as long as America itself. Today, the American eagle is an endangered species and needs your help. When you buy Miller beer for the July 4th holiday, look for this special refund offer and find out how you can help Miller help this living symbol live forever.
Miller's made the American way.
Next week, it'll be the Atlanta Braves at Los Angeles against the Dodgers, or the Phillies in Montreal against the Expos. For Joe Garagiola, Vin Scully from Detroit, wishing you a very pleasant good afternoon.
A promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines. You're not just flying. You're flying the friendly skies.
This has been a presentation of NBC Sports, the leader in innovative sports television.
Sunday, NBC movie premiere, Going Ape, a hilarious comedy with Rocky Bananas, Tony Danza, Jessica Walter, and Danny DeVito are Going Ape Sunday.
Never a truck like this for a price so low, even from GE Ford. These full-size F-150s loaded with features and options, just $93.86. That 8.8 back response financing makes your payments just $233 a month. You get air conditioning, automatic transmission, rear step bumper, tilt-wheel auxiliary fuse tank, stereo, speed control, bright low-mount mirrors, and more. Just $93.86 or $233 a month. More proof that unless that GE Ford emblem is on your truck, you probably paid too much. GE Ford, Model Heights.
To a great paint job. Mako brings your car back to life, all for a price lower than you'd expect. At accident claims, it's all part of the job at Mako. So when you have an uh-oh, better get Mako.
Hurry, $3.98 a week is in its final days. Call Holiday now.
Excuses don't give you a great body. Exercise does.
Beirut Hostage Crisis, Week 2, Saturday night, 7:30.
Good evening. I'm Connie Chung, and this is NBC Nightly News. In Beirut today, the Amal Shiite militia today said they will return the American hostages back to the original hijackers in a couple of days if negotiations remain deadlocked. We have two reports. First, Henry Camp in Beirut.
Calm, though the situation may appear on the surface.